Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Asim. I'm working as AWS Solution Architect and AWS Automation Engineer. Today I'm going to show you how you can deploy autoscaling and um application load balancer along with autoscaling in AWS. So let's start. It is very easy. First of all, what we are going to do is to deploy the VPC. So we are going to deploy the VPC in the island region. I have logged into my EC2 instance, and on that Ubuntu 18 EC2 instance, Terraform is set up. The setup of Terraform is quite easy. You can watch any YouTube videos how to set up it. Normally excuse me, it normally takes about 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and simply you can assign that particular EC2 instance administrative access role, so it would be easier for us to deploy our infrastructure. So now I'm going to apply my module Terraform apply dash target is equal to module dot VPC. So we are now going to deploy the infrastructure in the island region. Regarding the deployment of VPC, you can watch my previous videos which I have made, and you see the deployment is started. Regarding the deployment of VPC, you can watch my previous YouTube videos, and I need to show you that my all code is available on my GitHub account, and you can use that particular code from there. And also I will show you how you can use my code and deploy your infrastructure. So this is my GitHub repository, and from there you can you have to go to the classic module, and let me show you all the module here. For instance, this is the VPC module. While the infrastructure is deploying a NAT gateway, I just want to show you this is the code, and all the stuff with regard to your VPC. You have to just simply copy the code and set up on that particular EC2 instance which have that particular IAM role attached with the policy of administrative access. So this code is of VPC with regard to the deployment in Frankfurt. You can deploy anywhere. You see I've give the name Frankfurt, and if you can change it, you can select any region. For instance, Frankfurt is EU Central 1, and if you want to deploy in any other region, you can deploy that. But the thing is that my code is with regard to the maximum AWS availability zones. So in Frankfurt we have 3 availability zones, and even in the island we have 3 availability zones. So if you're going to deploy this code, there are 3 availability zone. Let me show you how you can see the availability zone. These are the availability zone 1 2 3 ABC. So for instance, if you go to Virginia, you will find that there are 6 availability zone. If you go to Canada, there will be 2 availability zone. So what you have to do to make changes regarding that, for as I said, this code is with regard to the maximum availability zones. So if I go to the Canada region, um, what I'm going to do is to give two subnets, for public and two for private. Or if I move to Frankfurt, I can give three. If I move to Virginia, I will give the six subnet side ranges. I hope you guys understand. uh, the deployment is with regard to the island region is fully deployed. The setting I gave in the module. So one thing I need to also show you with regard to the usage of code. For instance, um, let me go back to the home. For instance, if I go to the git directory which I've created, let's say, and let me move to the dev directory I've just created. What I'm going to do is to remove everything from here. I just want to show you guys how you can use my Terraform modules. Just set up the EC2 instance and you can deploy these modules in for your for the deployment of your infrastructure. You can use this code is in the dev environment. So what I'm going to do is to show you guys what you have to do regarding the deployment. So let me go to the my GitHub repository. Simply what you have to do is to copy this from top to bottom. I'm going to copy this, and what I'm going to give is the I'm going to say this vpc.tf terraform file, okay, and put this code here. Well, one thing just need to tell you, you have to give the source of this module. Currently we are fetching this code from the GitHub repository, so we have to give this path, okay. So if one thing also I need to show you regarding this excuse me. For instance, if you are not able to show what commands you should use for the Terraform or the source code, and there are example which I've set in my Terraform commands. These are the commands you can take reference from this file. So for instance, I've also given the example with regard to the usage of source. We are using the GitHub QuickBooks 2018 Terraform Classic module, and we are going to use the module of VPC. Let me show you. Go back to this. This is the main repository, and from there we go to the modules, and there is a VPC module, VPC code actually here in the module section. The module is outside the this is the module. I've given the name VPC module. You have to give the path only. For instance, I've just go to the VPC. have copied all the code and put it here. Now I have to give the source. What is the source? You can give the source like this. This is the example. You have to put, if you're fetching from the GitHub public repository, the source would be github.com and my QuickBooks 2018 URL, and if you go to that, you go to the modules and you go to the VPC where the all code is written. So if I give this source code, let's say you see nothing is here. I have to initialize the Terraform init. See, this is the VPC module. uh, as I told you, the code is with regard to the deployment in Frankfurt region, which is the region is EU Central 1. If you change the region to suppose London or anything else, uh, the code will deploy the VPC in that particular region. For these are the parameters like instance tenancy, default, enable DNS true. All this stuff is just like you are deployed from the AWS console. So these are the CIDR ranges. I'm going to use the VPC CIDR range, and this you can change. You can set up any range which you desired with regard to the deployment in your organization. And these are the subnets I'm going to deploy. You can use any /24 or something like that. As I told you that subnets are going to be according to the number of availability zone in that particular region. So in Frankfurt we have 3 availability zones. So we have to give 3 subnets ranges here. So if I use the code Terraform apply dash target is equal to module VPC, it is going to deploy the infrastructure in the Frankfurt region. Let me show you guys. Currently, if I go to the Frankfurt region, you will see nothing there. If I go to the Frankfurt region, this is for the demonstration purposes, how you can easily simply use the modules, my Terraform modules. The code is there. You see there is one VPC which is the default one, and currently there is nothing. So you don't have to do a lot. You don't have to write code. You have to simply copy the one file from there, and you can deploy your complete VPC just like that. If I do Terraform apply, these 20 resources which I gave will be deployed. For instance, the NAT gateway, I'm using a total of 1 NAT gateway. If I change to 3, then the resources will be higher. For instance, if I want to modify suppose if I need 3 gateways there, and I want to deploy in different region, and also give the names. These are the taggings which I've included. Let's say save it, and let's say if I do Terraform apply, you will see the resources will be added. You see 3 more resources. So I'm going to say no. You can if I type yes, the deployment will be done and there is no need. We are currently on a different project. This is just to show you guys that how you can just set up a small EC2 instance like 1 to T2 or T3, and just set up the Terraform there, give the IAM role with administrative access, and just use my Terraform code from the GitHub. You have to give the GitHub source path and copy this module. So let's back to where we were. We are going to deploy the auto scaling along with the application load balancer in our Frankfurt region, in our Ireland region. So I'm just switching that. This is the code. I'm not fetching from the my GitHub repository. I'm going to straight away deploy from my local EC2 instance. So Okay, let me close this so you can later work on this. So this is our island region, and let me show you guys the VPCs here. Okay, let's close it. And if I go to the VPC, our deployment of VPC has been done versus private cloud. You see there are two VPCs now in the island region. Okay, so now the time to deploy the auto scaling along with load balancer and target group. First of all, I need to tell you guys there has to be a sequence regarding the deployment of the auto scaling group. First of all, we will deploy the um, target group with regard to the application load balancer. So what I'm going to do is to deploy the target group module, which is already available. All this code is and modules are available on my GitHub repository. So I'm going to deploy this target group first. So this is the module which is also available there. I have set up locally, so I'm going to use the same previous code which I've used for the deployment of VPC. Just I'm going to edit that, and I'm going to deploy the target group in that particular VPC which we have deployed in the island region. Let me show you guys. If I go to the target group and refresh it, you will see that one target group has been created there in island region. So, and the next step is that we are going to create an application load balancer, okay, in our island region. I just need to copy this on Amazon resource name, and I'm going to deploy the application load balancer in the EU West 1, which is the island region. This is my certificate on. We are going to deploy with HTTPS. How you can deploy with certificates? It is very simple. Just you have to use the ACM, and now I have to give this on. This is on of the target group. So we are going to deploy the application load balancer. Let's save it. Okay, and let me show you guys how quickly you can deploy the infrastructure in the AWS with the Terraform. It is quite easy and it is super fast. So if I move to load balancer, you will see one load balancer would be provisioning, and this is the application load balancer. Okay, and you will see the listeners of 80 and 443 by default has been set. It is currently provisioning. It would take time about 1 to 3 minutes, and you will see that the listener will be on port 80 and 443 and will be attached to the target group we have created. The third step is that which we are going to do is to deploy the auto scaling group. Usually people find a lot difficult regarding the deployment of auto scaling via Terraform and application load balancer. So I've made this code for you guys to just simply go there and deploy this code. as it is quite easy and simple. As you see, we have already deployed the VPC and all this stuff in just few minutes. I have not even paused the videos and just show you guys how you can use the already built code in your infrastructure, whether it is production or your dev environment. It is how quickly you can deploy. And with the things that regarding this deployment is concerned, this is the modular code. You see, I have not give these subnet 1 2 and 3 subnets. It is already picking via the module we have created, uh, and the output that particular module is the input of this file. So all is just automatically has been set up in the multiple AZs. Okay, so this has been done. So if I refresh this, okay, how as I want to show you one thing as well, how is it is multi-AZ. Let's see that it's subnets. You see, there are 3 availability zone in the island region. You see, I have chosen to deploy in 3 public subnets, and it has been deployed in 1 2 and 3, and all subnets are different, because it is the internet facing application load balancer. You have to choose the public subnets for its deployment. Okay, so this part has been done. What we are going to do is to deploy our auto scaling. Let me show you guys the auto scaling module, and it is auto scaling module along with the auto scaling policies of scale up and scale down policies. There are other policies, step scaling and scheduled scaling. So if you wanna use those, you can also set up, but in this particular demo we are going to use the simple scaling policy. For instance, if let me explain you guys. If the threshold means the percentage, if the threshold increases, you see, greater than or equal to 70% for a period of 120 seconds, it will deploy one EC2 instance. And in the scale down policy, I have given that if the CPU percent threshold is less than equal to 50%, it is going to reduce that particular EC2 instance for -1, and the cooldown is the period which in that particular time span no activity has been done. So this is our code. One thing regarding this, the regarding this deployment, let me show you guys. One thing I need to tell you regarding this, that the target group we have already created, we have to simply give the Amazon resource name for that particular target group, which I have shown you. I've copied something else. Now let me show you guys again. Now I'm going to copy this Amazon. Just a second please. Okay, my session was logged out, so let me show you guys. This is the on of that particular target group. What I'm going to do is to simply copy that on here and saved it, and this is the auto scaling module we are going to deploy. uh, so we are going to give this command terraform apply dash target. This is the module. So we are now deploying the target uh, our target module, and this module app set up also the launch configuration, which is required for the auto scaling group. You know that currently, let me show you guys the launch configuration. You will see nothing in that section. Okay, you see it is blank, and let me show you the key pair as well. So there are no key pair except the Terraform which I am using. So the key pair we are going to use is the key pair of power, and there will all the security group will be attached. So let me say yes, and it is going to deploy the you see all subnets in the particular VPC are automatically picked up because of the modular code. You see, this is the power public key. I have this private key in my system. So this is the launch configuration. Let me refresh it, and this is the launch configuration test LC for launch configuration. And it is taking time because it is not just setting up the launch configuration, it is also setting up the auto scaling group. If I go to the auto scaling group, you will see one auto scaling group. In that auto scaling module, I have set up the desired capacity of 2, min of 1, and 4 of max. This is just for testing purposes, and I will show you guys the policy will be shortly displayed here, which is regard to the auto scaling behavior, which I've shown you the thresholds. Let me refresh it again. Currently it is in the deployment state. You see it will take just little time. Excuse me. It is provisioning actually. You see one instance has been launched. If I go to the EC2 instance, one instance is set up by this is the testing, and other one is also initializing. And if I go to the scaling policies and I refresh, shortly you will see the policies as well. And also one thing I need to show you guys is that if I go to the oops, it's new tab open. Excuse me. If I go to the target groups, you will see that the auto scaling will launch these EC2 instance in that particular target group we have created. If I go to the target group, if I go to the target, you see one is healthy, another one is initializing. So straight away launching in these target groups, and this is going to be attached with our load balancer. Let me open load balancer in another tab, so I will show you guys the load balancer as well. So if I go to the listener, you will see the two listeners listening on port 80 and 80. So by manually I have not added extra rules. Just for this sake, I am going to use the rule which is with regard to the host domain name. So there is my domain spin.saklanmushtaq.com. I'm going to use this subdomain and I'm going to redirect to 443. Okay, and I'm going to say this rule. Also I want to show you this load balancer. Copy the rule only sorry, Apache is running on the, see the success message you see which is with regard to this URL. So currently where we were, I have to show you guys the policies. If I refresh it, you will see the two policies. You see no policies are coming up because the resource has been deployed. So these are the policies which I have talked to you. CPU policy for the scale down if threshold is less than or equal to 50%, for the two consecutive periods of 120 seconds. There will be the removal of one instance, and then wait will be 300 seconds. So scale up policy is this: if the load or the threshold is more than or equal to 70% and for two consecutive periods, it is going to launch two EC2 instances. Anyway, now if I go to the spin.saklanmushtaq, you will see spin.saklanmushtaq. It will be on listeningmushtaq.com on HTTPS. So I've not made, I guess, any entry with regard to the DNS. For the security purpose, let me pause this video. I'm going to made one DNS entry in my DNS section. So guys, I have put my load balancer URL or endpoint in my DNS setup for security purposes. I don't want to show you guys the DNS setting. You have to use the simple CNAME, and propagation time will take some, but the thing is that now it has been propagated. So you see connection is secured, spin.saklanmushtaq.com. You see verified by Amazon. These are the ACM we are using for the Amazon. So that is it, guys. This is the way you can deploy the auto scaling and application load balancer by using Terraform modules. And if you wanna use my module, the code is, as I've already shown you, is freely available in the public repository on GitHub. You can use, and please like the video and share the video as much as I can. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.